Our topic for today in Success Mentorship class number 365 is 7 laws of human intelligence. I thought that would get your interest. 7 laws of human intelligence. Everybody's talking about artificial intelligence, but what about human intelligence? Human intelligence was the intelligence that created artificial intelligence. And so we're going to look into that today and see how we can use human intelligence to transform our lives from what it is to exactly what we want it to be. I invite our listeners, if you don't have a copy, and even if you do, get another copy, to get a copy of our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. Visit our website, www.herbertharris.com. And whatever you do, be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire. This day, one of the interesting things about this topic, a quote I'd like to share with you, and actually, it it's a really, you might say, a universal quote. It comes from our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. And it says this: what you conceive and believe, you can achieve. I'll say that again. What you conceive and believe, you can achieve. And I wanted to start with that thought because over the last 2 weeks, we've discussed two very profound topics. We talked about the power of the pivot, how many of us get to a point in our lives where we may need to make a drastic change, a drastic shift, where we need to change direction, change affiliation, change our playground, change our playthings, change our playmates, to do something to stop where we are, to go where we want to go. So that power of the pivot, an awesome choice that we have that we can make to transform our lives. The second topic we had was profound. Last week, Christine shared a topic that I think just opened up everybody's mind: to renegotiate your life. That life is not only a celebration, life is a negotiation. You determine how you live. You determine how you relate to the world. And in that way, you determine how the world relates to you. And so when we have these two concepts, and I'll call them uh, a mindset for change, to pivot and to renegotiate, then how do we move forward? What are the next steps? We hear so much about AI, that AI can show us the way. And I'm learning in many of the businesses and many of the things that we're doing, AI is a powerful tool. I love to go to the definitions, and I had a beautiful definition for AI, artificial intelligence. And it said, artificial intelligence is the capacity of computers or other machines to exhibit or simulate, operative word, simulate intelligent behavior. And so this idea of AI is interesting. In other words, that we can use computers to simulate the thinking mind, the creative process. Then we ask, well, what about human intelligence? Because human intelligence created artificial intelligence. I was in the computing area many years ago, and we had a thought, and it says garbage in, garbage out. That your computer was no better than the person who programmed it. And so when we look at AI right now, basically what AI has been able to do is to literally read virtually everything on the internet. The internet is this huge field of information, to read it and store it and manipulate it. But still, human intelligence is more profound. I looked up a definition, and human intelligence was so much, you might say, more rich than this artificial intelligence. And it said human intelligence is a mental quality that consists of the abilities to learn from experience, adapt to new situations, understand and handle abstract concepts, and use knowledge to manipulate one's environment. So, literally, human intelligence is the ability to use your mental faculties to create and impact the life in which that you're living. Now, there are two other aspects of this. Someone says, can a computer be creative? A computer can be creative, but when I look at the difference between human intelligence and artificial intelligence, on page 82 of the 12 Universal Laws of Success, we talk about two types of imagination. Synthetic imagination. Definition: through synthetic imagination, existing concepts, ideas, and plans are arranged into new combinations. This type of imagination operates through education and observation. A genius uses synthetic imagination to create something totally new. And isn't that really, when we think about it, what this artificial intelligence is really about? Taking what already exists, the ideas and the plans that already exist, and arrange them into new combinations. I was looking at the process for artificial intelligence to create information, and basically it looks at what has been done before, what words have followed other words. And so when it writes a sentence, it's like a statistical analysis of what should follow based on what has gone before. But now let's look at creative imagination from page 82. Through creative imagination, your mind has direct communication and contact with universal intelligence. Creative imagination is the faculty through which hunches and inspiration come. It communicates through the subconscious minds of others and operates as a sixth sense. Though it operates automatically, creative intelligence is most productive when your conscious and subconscious minds are in harmony with it. So when we look now, then, our minds, the human intelligence, is more like creative imagination. And so we can say, well, what's the difference now? Artificial intelligence operates on what we give it. As we say, garbage in, garbage out. But human intelligence has the ability to tap into infinite intelligence, has the ability to tap into the God mind through harmonic interactions with the life, with energy, and even with other people. So we can use something like the mastermind principle, where human beings are able to connect with one another on a thought level, and this vibration of these individual thoughts come together in a harmonic way so that 1 plus 1 is more than 2. Artificial intelligence now. Let's look at some stark differences. 2. As I hold up one finger, right? 2. The main difference is artificial intelligence is under external control. Somebody else handles the internet, the platform on which it operates. Somebody else has developed the algorithms by which it operates. You let's look at something like Starlink, how the entire world is able to communicate through these satellites. But anything that operates outside of you that is not in your control can be controlled by someone else. It's a scary thought that one day somebody may pull the plug and we go to the internet and it's not there. Somebody may pull the plug and we pick up our telephones and they don't work. When we look at what was done in the Middle East with cell phones blowing people up, anything that is not controlled by you, not controlled by God, can be problematic. And so, after we have made our pivot, after we have renegotiated our lives, how do we move forward? And so, my recommendation is this: to protect our own ability to create the life we desire, to create that life from within our creative imagination, within our connection to infinite intelligence. And so, in doing this, I wanted to put forth 7, I'll call them laws of human intelligence. There are other laws when you look at our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. But these 7 laws now can form that foundation for you now to go forth after you have pivoted, after you have renegotiated. These are some principles that can take you to the next level. So let's look at principle number 1, the law of belief. Belief is the foundation for every achievement. You know, our opening quote, if you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. Belief is that unwavering belief, that unwavering conviction that our goals are attainable, that our inner potential can help us overcome any obstacle. That's a great power tool. So it is through belief that we can look at our situation in life as we decide how to go forward, and we can say, hey, I believe I can do it. And then I can take belief to the next level, which is faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So belief morphs into faith, and that gives you the tool now that no matter what happens, no matter what pig pen you're in, no matter what bad relationship you're in, no matter what things have happened to you to keep you from doing, being, and having what you want, you can overcome it. In other words, belief can give you unlimited potential to overcome obstacles and create the life of your dreams. Powerful too. Henry Ford said something very powerful. He said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So this first law of belief says if you control your beliefs, if you control the thoughts in your mind, then you can control your life and therefore nothing is impossible. So after you've pivoted and now you're renegotiating, whatever you put in your mind, whatever beliefs you hold can guide you. Because belief is a power tool. When we believe in ourselves, we can align ourselves with our hopes, with our aspirations, which then sets the stage for success. So belief prepares the way. The second law is the law of responsibility. You see, once you believe things, even when we look at the first law of success, for example, is the law of thought, and it says a mind can conceive anything that it can conceive and believe. A mind shall have whatsoever it thinks in its heart. So whatever it thinks, the concept, the belief, and the feeling nature of it. You see, there's a little difference between belief is rather abstract. When you put it into a thought now, it has an intention added to it. And so when we say I take responsibility now, it's that whatever that new mindset, whatever that those things are that you believe, now you're taking responsibility to manifest them in your life. Well, when you take responsibility to manifest, you're really taking responsibility for the consequences. So taking responsibility means owning the choices. It is my choice to do this, but it's also accepting the consequences of your actions. And so if you are doing, if you're not operating in a profound, effective way, the proof is always in the pudding. Winston Churchill said, the price of greatness is responsibility. Winston Churchill was a profound man, had a profound impact on the world. The price of greatness is responsibility. In other words, whatever you become, whatever you do, whatever you have, is the result of your thinking, your beliefs, and you're taking responsibility for manifesting them. That when you embrace responsibility now, you empower yourself to bring about change. You give yourself the power to steer your life in the direction you want it to go. We have a beautiful affirmation that says, if it's to be, it's up to me. So now, if you can see it, you can be it by taking responsibility to manifest it. The third law of human intelligence is the law of vision. So let's look at the evolution. You believe you can. You believe you can create this world that you desire. You take responsibility for doing it, and you make the choices that are consistent with that belief. But to take that belief to the next level, you must see the vision. Vision is looking beyond the present and picturing the future that you want to create. I'm going to say that again. Vision is looking beyond the present to create the future that you want to create the future that you want to experience. The Habakkuk says, write the vision and make it plain. The Habakkuk is one of the shortest books in the Bible, but it has that passion, that passage. Write the vision, write your vision and make it plain, that he may run that readeth it. That if you can write it now, you can read it, which then reinforces your belief. Said, though it may tarry, wait for it, it will surely come to pass. The power of the vision is awesome because as you pivot, sometimes you pivot to have a journey from. You pivot from a bad situation to say, number one, let me stop hurting. Let me climb out of this hole. You renegotiate to say, let me change my relationship with myself, maybe with my God, with my people, with my environment. But then you have to have a vision because the vision becomes that manifestation, that power that pulls you toward it. Vision is that inner blueprint that guides your journey, that inspires you, that helps you set meaningful goals. The scripture says, where there is no vision, the people perish. When you have no vision, your life just goes along like a thistle in the wind. Some people live their lives like a star on its predetermined trajectory, and others live their lives like thistles in the wind, blowing here, blowing there. Joel Barker said this: vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes time. But vision with action can change the world. One of the most powerful things about vision is really operates in what we might call the law of manifestation and energy. That there is no vision that you can have that does not have the provision to help it manifest. Many people are guilty of dreaming too small. With vision, there's no limitation on your imagination. And the fact that you can see the vision means that there's an energy equivalent out there in the universe that is waiting to be manifested. And so if you have a vision and you believe it and you feel it and you talk about it and you act on it, it will come to pass. which leads us to the fourth law of human intelligence, which is action. See, now this is where there's this great divergence a lot from that artificial intelligence because action is that catalyst, action is that stimulus that converts ideas into reality. An idea, a thought is just a thought, but the moment you put feet to it, the moment you act on it. And so as we go forth over this next year, every thought that we have, the moment we start to act on it, we'll get desired results. So we believe it, we take responsibility for it, we see it, and then we act on it. You see, action confirms belief. Action confirms belief. So what you act on, you believe, and that then creates the vibration that helps it manifest in your life. One of my great German philosophers was Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. And he said this: knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. So this gives a solid foundation now after we have made these changes to how to lay out our lives the way we want them to be. When we start taking action, it gives us the ability to move beyond contemplation to operation. Move beyond contemplation to manifestation. See, real progress in our lives is when we are able to translate and transform our vision, the thoughts that we have, into action, into tangible actions, no matter how small. Kenya Crooks is one of my favorite celebrity trainers, and he says, inch by inch it's a cinch, yard by yard it's hard. There's a beautiful scripture that ties in with this. You know, and you know, this is not religion at all, but there's scriptural principle, and I love the principle when in chapter 7 of the Law of Action and the 12 Universal Laws of Success, and it says, "But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves." So if you don't take action on your beliefs, they're not going to happen. Something will happen, but it's probably not what you would like to happen. So this law of action really sets the stage now to bring about that you desire. The fifth law of human intelligence is the law of discipline. See, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was such a profound speaker and teacher. He said, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And so as we take action, action without discipline will not get the results that we're seeking. Action without discipline undermines consistency, undermines persistency. So discipline gives us the ability to develop habits that can carry us to the next level. You see, in the beginning, we create the habits, but in the final analysis, the habits create us. And so with discipline, we can build those habits that lead to success. With discipline, we can take control of our bodies, of our minds, of our instincts, and our emotions to such an extent that they serve us and they help us get where we want to go. When we couple that and put it home, file it down a little bit more and call it the self-discipline, is that choice that we make where we say, I am in charge of me and everything about me, is that choice to take possession of your mind in such strength or degree that nothing is impossible, that everything is working together on one accord. So that fifth law of human intelligence, discipline. The sixth law of human intelligence is relationship. See, relationship really acknowledges that no journey is taken in isolation. It's not a trip you take by yourself. And not only that, relationship says that there are certain powers that you cannot access by yourself, that you really have to be tuned in to another person, to other people, so that the I am power operates within that sphere. It says, when two or more gather on one accord, I am in the midst of them. I am is the ability to create. And so this idea of relationships now says that whether it's a family or friends or colleagues, that relationships not only enrich your lives, but relationship provides support, provides inspiration, provides perspective, but most of all, provides access to knowledge and power that you cannot access by yourself. Tony Robbins said, the quality of your life is the quality of your relationships. I'll say that again. The quality of your life is the quality of your relationships. One thing I'll say is this: as you begin to create this new life for yourself, is to qualify your relationships now, to have standards and boundaries for relationships. Healthy relationships are based on trust and empathy, communication. All connections are crucial. So be sure to make the right connections based on what you want to go, where you want to go, and what you want to be, and what you want to do. When we talk about relationships, I love to tell the story of the long handled spoon. And I think this really gives us a picture of how we have to move forward in this world at this time. A fellow asked God, he said, God, what's the difference between heaven and hell? God took him to a place where there were two doors. He opened the door on the left, and there was a table and people sitting around the table, big bowl of food, soup there, and these long spoons. But yet these people were unhappy. They were thin. They were gaunt. Clearly they were suffering. They were starving. And the challenge was, let me tell you what the challenge is in a minute. Let's look in the other room. In the other room, you had same table, soup in front of the people, same long handled spoon. But yet these people were well fed, were happy. You could tell they were healthy. And so the man said, well, God, what's the difference? God said, well, the people on the left side, you see that spoon was so long, you could not use that spoon and dip the soup and reach your mouth. Your arms weren't long enough. And they were selfish and they were self centered. They didn't care about anybody but themselves. And as a result, they starved because they could not feed themselves. But in the other door on the right side, these people had the same challenge, but they had a different mindset. They said, if I can't feed myself, let me at least feed my neighbor. Let me feed my brother. And so this way, they took that long spoon that they couldn't feed themselves, but they could feed their neighbor, and each one fed someone else until everyone was fed. So relationships are a powerful tool that can help you overcome things like nothing else. And then finally, the seventh law of human intelligence is the law of obedience. Now, I don't mean obedience to any dogma or laws, something outside of yourselves. I don't mean like a blind submission, but this is obedience to say, I want to be aligned with my values. This idea of obedience being aligned with your core values, aligned with your purpose. You see, once you understand this obedience to the purpose and the reason for your creation, you are now in a position to do more, be more, and to operate more effectively. So true obedience is not about passive submission, it's about active alignment of your will with a higher power. And you see, when you're obedient, when you go through most of the spiritual and religious perspectives, it always talks about obedience to God, obedience, in other words, following those principles that honor who you are and what you are about. When you honor the values inside you, truthfulness, honesty, justice, all of these things, this creates within you a sense of permanence and a foundation now from which you can operate. So, obedience to the vibration of who you are. If I wanted to do an analogy, when the prodigal son had gone off into the far country and blown his fortune, when he was in the pig pens of life, and he came back and he said, in my father's house, the servants have food enough and more. He was acknowledging that relationship, obedience. He said, I will arise and go to my father's house, and I just want to be a servant. In other words, I will become a part of the obedient staff that serves my father. So once you align with that which that created you, you are now able, based on your values now, to weather the storm, to build, and to make it happen. So these 7 laws can help you move from the pivot, from the renegotiation, to the dream, to the vision, and to your purpose. So my recommendation is that it is important as human beings to protect these laws, to understand these laws, and to operate under these laws so that one day we will always create the person we were designed and created to be and manifest our purpose. That law of belief, that whatever we can conceive and believe, we can achieve. That law of responsibility that says if it's to be, it's up to me. I take responsibility for the outcomes in my life. The law of vision, to see it clearly, to create a vision so clear, knowing that if you can create the vision, the provision is already there. The law of action, that you are committed to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to manifest your desires. The law of discipline, that you will take control of your mind, of your emotions, your instincts, so they are all under your control and work together for good. That law of relationships, where you're now very discriminating about the people you permit to come into your life. Everybody just can't walk into your life, where now you have boundaries and criteria for relationships, knowing the power that those relationships can produce. And then finally, that law of obedience, where you commit to be aligned with the power that created you, the source that manifested you, and the purpose for which you were created. That when you can live by these 7 laws, then nothing is impossible. Then you can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. So it is. Whew. Let's just take a breath for a moment. Thank you so much for being with us today. Those on Instagram, those on YouTube, and of course our mastermind group. I'm so anxious to get together and talk with you. Those of you who are listening, be sure to check out our mastermind group on Patreon, the Success Mentorship Network, because when we get together on Saturday mornings, we have a profound time, a profound thing. Where can I find it? Yes, on your page. email anyone who does not see our mastermind. It's the patreon.com/success mentorship network. Patreon.com/success mentorship network. Be sure to go out and get a copy of our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. Visit our website, herbertharris.com, www.herbertharris.com. See some of the goodies we have there to help you transform your life, and book a success consultation. There's a book a success consultation to speak with me, and maybe I can help you be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire. So, those of you on Instagram, on YouTube, bye for now, always knowing that the best is yet to come. Those on Zoom, hang on for our discussion.